Okay, so I just got a new set of Cavalier pickups. We're going to go ahead and install them into this Brad Paisley road-worn Tele. I got a Seymour Duncan Jerry Donahue and a Hot for Tele rhythm neck. And I'm no expert, so you can watch me make a whole bunch of mistakes here. I'm just warming up my soldering iron. We're going to tin the end there. And go ahead and just get the excess off of there. Okay, I got a new set of strings to put on, so I'll just go ahead and clip these off to get started. I need my string winder though. Get my polishing cloth, got my tuner, got my string winders, got my lube. Let's get at it here, okay? I'm just going to go ahead and take the strings right off of here so we got more room to work here. Okay. Alright, I just like to clip my strings down here so they're easy to pull out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. We'll just yank these off of here. And then I just like to just go ahead and wrap them a couple times, pull it through. And then it makes it easier to throw away so you're not just flying out all over the place. We can do this a couple times too. Yeah, just pull that through a couple times until it's nice and tight. There we go. These we can just pull right out the back. Alright. Throw those all over there. There we go. And then while I got the strings off, I just like to do a quick little clean up here. I'll do another clean up too before we put it all back together, but hey, I just like to do this. There we go. Okay, now I'm looking for a little container to put my screws in because I don't want to lose any screws, so I'll just use this plastic bag right here. Okay, usually I have a little cup or something, but I don't have a whole lot of time right now to mess around with that, so here's a little cap. I'll just put them right in there. Okay. What I'll go ahead and do first is take off this control cavity, take off the control plate, pick guard. I've already done this 3 times. I've been trying different pickups on this thing and I've come pretty close. I've been pretty happy with the Jerry Donahue. It's good. Okay. But it's only 90% there what I really want it to sound like. It's a little too, I like to say compressed. I don't think that's the right word for it, but it's just a little bit dull and muddy. You know, I shouldn't even say that. It's just, it doesn't have the clarity and the openness that I really want. So all things considered, I really probably would just leave that Jerry Donahue in there. The neck pickup, however, has been a quest. It started out with a twisted Tele in the neck position, which, you know, it worked good with the Paisley Custom 64 pickup that was in here, but I didn't like the Custom 64. It was too thin. It had no guts, no bottom end, and it was just all tops. Super twangy, super bitey and snarly, but didn't have any guts. So that's why instead of going with the Broadcaster, I went with the Jerry Donahue to give me a little bit more guts for overdrive and stuff. But I feel like it's just too mid-rangey. I lost some clarity. So now what I'm doing is going with the Nocaster to try to get more of that that airy openness. little less mid-range on it. And we'll see. Okay, I've got layers here. This is the Paisley Pickguard. It's actually clear with like a stencil on the back. So I took some art paper, purple, and just cut it out to match. And then I also did that, shielding tape. Okay. All right, so what we'll do is take this control plate and just lay it right there. I've got a 4-way switch going on, and I've also got this the tone control. I'm bypassing the neck on the tone control because this hot for Tele was just too dark. So I took the tone control right out. So what I did is I routed, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I routed this middle lug in the tone pot is going over to the switch to the neck lead. I mean the bridge lead. So it's only when I flip it to the bridge, it's only, the tone control is only working on the bridge. Normally this would connect right here or right here, depending on if you want 50s wiring or modern wiring. But I moved it over here just to work with the pickup. Now I'm gonna switch it back over for these Cavalier pickups because, hey, I like the 50s wiring. I like to be able to use the tone pot on both pickups. But for this hot for Tele bridge, or the neck, I mean, it was just too dark. It wasn't gonna work. So I'll go ahead, and next thing I'll do is just go ahead and remove this neck pickup and get it right out of the way. Just take the screws all the way out. Also, the thing about the hot Tele too is it did overpower this bridge, and I couldn't lower the bridge down far enough to compensate for this, so I ended up lowering this way down, which is going to affect, you know, it's just it was a pain in the butt. Okay, that's all it is, pain in the butt. I'll go ahead and give myself a little slack here. I gotta get the little tubes out. Just poke them with the screw. There we go. Okay, now I got the pickup boxes for these, so let's go ahead and put it right back into the box. Hot for Tele. It's a fine pickup. I really don't have any complaints. It just doesn't really work for my setup. So, okay. So for here, I've got, when I unsolder these and solder them back up, I'm going to do it all at the same time, so as to avoid any confusion. So the next thing I'll do is just go ahead and remove this. I'm going to drop the bridge pickup straight down in there before I remove the bridge plate, because that just makes it easier. Otherwise I'll have this flapping around. I'll be trying to unscrew the screws, and that's no fun. One thing you want to do though is for these Tele bridge pickups is you want to do it evenly. If you do all one side, it's going to poke into that cloth coil wrap, and you could actually damage your coils. I'm not saying it will, but it could theoretically, so why take the chance? And you can see what's happening right now. When I try to adjust this right now, it's not going any farther down on that one side, so there must be something underneath there blocking it. So we'll just go ahead and take this bridge off. I should be able to do it without removing the saddles, hopefully, because I do not want to touch those saddles. Intonation is perfect. I don't want to mess with it. So please just let me just move these out of the way. Let the screws come out. Loosen them all up. It's kind of like when you're taking the wheels off, you know, your lug nuts, torquing them down, untorquing them. I don't know. Why mess around? This is a Polonia sandwich with spruce, so the wood's pretty soft, and I hope I don't have to remove this bridge plate anymore, because it just makes me nervous how soft this wood is. So I want to be very careful that I'm not cross-threading or stripping anything or angling the screws too much. Like, this is a tough point here, so I'm going to move these saddles, just get out of the way just a little bit. But hey, I'm a hack. I'm not going to sit here and just, you know, I'll tell you the right way to do it is take all these saddles off first and then do that. But no, then you're going to mess with the intonation, and nobody wants to deal with that. So, you know what? We work around it. But again, I'm not going to, you know, hand unscrew these until they're completely loose, because I don't want to damage that wood. So far, the screws are really clean. The wood's holding up. Squeak, squeak, squeak. I'll drop those right there. Let's take a look and see what's going on under here. Yeah, as I suspected, the wires were folded up underneath there and not allowing this pickup to drop any lower. So I'll have to pay special attention to those when I put the next pickup in. I'm going to make sure that the wire is flush against the base plate. So I can go ahead and just remove these now. All the way. Okay, I'll just set this off to the side for now. Alright, let's start with the bridge pickup. Okay, so now we have a grounding wire on this one. This is a little bit different. So when I put this grounding, the new bridge plate, or actually install the bridge plate, I'm going to make sure that this screw goes through that grounding wire. And then we're going to solder this ground wire onto the volume pot where the other stuff is grounded to. That's all. Should be straightforward, pretty simple. I got new screws. Perfect. I'll use these new screws. Why mix it up if you don't have to? These screws can go to the next guitar that has the Jerry Donahue pickup in it. So I'll grab the Jerry Donahue pickup box. And we'll put these screws and rubber tubes right in there with it. Okay. Okay, there we go. Put that aside. Okay, now let's see here. Okay, I'm ready to go now. So I'm going to unwrap all these wires here. Let's see here. And again, I don't want this getting in the way. So if we look at the pickup here as it goes down here into the control cavity here, they're going to go this way. And I don't want these getting in the way like they did last time. So there's not a whole lot of room there, but they're going to have to go underneath. That's just how it is. So they're going to have to, I don't think they're going to go like that. If they do, it's going to be such a tight fit. I don't want the wires rubbing like that. So they're going to have to go underneath. All right. So we know black is ground, and the white is the hot. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and strip these, I'm going to strip this little ground here. Give myself something to work with here. And I'm using this cheap strippers that I got from Harbor Freight, so it's not exactly the best tool for the job, but hey, do what you gotta do, right? And this is cloth pushback wire, so this right here I should be able to work with this pretty easily here. I'm gonna push it back a little bit and give myself some fresh wire. It looks like for whatever reason the ends look like they're burnt. It's kind of weird, but hey, just gonna trim these off, make sure I got nice good wire to work with here. Give it a little twist. Give them all a good little twist here, and I'm gonna tin up the ends here. And then all I'll do is I'm just gonna put this underneath the wire here, and then heat up the wire end and let the solder just melt on it. Just like that. That's good. Make sure I inhale all that toxic fumes that comes off of there. It's always good for you. All right, here we go. Wipe that off. Okay, now what I'm doing here is I don't want to, yeah, you know what? I should probably just flip this over so it's easier for me to see here. I cut these wires too short going to the output jacks. That's my own fault. It makes it really difficult to work on here. So, hey, lesson learned. Don't cut those too short. Leave them long enough so you can actually work on it without having to undo this every time. So, but hey, I'm going to have to undo it. Again, this Polonia is so soft. I don't want to keep doing this. It's going to wear out these screws. It's going to wear out these holes. But these are the things you learn, you know. The more you do this stuff, the more you learn. Put those screws right there. Okay. Now we can pop this out here. Unscrew this. Remember how it goes back together. Pull this out. There, now we can actually we got some room to work with here. Now I can just flip this upside down, stick it in there, and I can solder on top of it. No problemo now, okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for these wires right here. They're coming out of here. I got the ground going here. This is for the neck, so I can remove both of those. And then this is the bridge going up here. The bridge hot, okay? So the bridge hot's gonna go on this first lug up here. So that's where this white wire is going to go once we thread it through there, okay? And then the black wire is gonna go there, and so is the green wire. Simple as that. Okay, so let's go ahead and disconnect these. There we go. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to redo this the tone connection, because I want to hook the tone control back up to the neck pickup. So here we go. we'll just leave that dangle there for a minute. We'll hook that up there in a minute. And then let's take off these grounds. Okay, if it's taking too long to melt that thing, then the iron's not hot enough. I've made a mistake before of holding it on there too long, and that's how you fry a pot, you know, fry caps, whatever. That's how that happens. So I'm gonna let that cool off for just a minute, and this little wire here is gonna go jumper right over here to the middle lug on the volume pot. So I only need it about that long. I'm going to make it a little bit extra long just so that I got more to work with. Because it's better to have it too long than to cut it too short. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just move that one. I'll tin it up real quick. Put the iron underneath it. Heat up the end of the wire and just boom, melt just a little bit of solder on there. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, come in from the bottom, right where this other one's at, push it up. That's looking good. Oh, nope, it's not good. Thought that one right through it was good. Let's try again. If at first you don't succeed, making sure that's a nice shiny connection there. We don't want any dry. Dang it, what is going on here? Okay, I've got this pushed right up against there, so once this melts, it's going to go right through there, okay? Make sure it's nice and shiny. We'll give it a minute to cool. And we'll tug on it. I should be able to tug on that. Yeah, okay, we're good. Alright, now let's try to get this ground off of here. This is a big mess when you start getting all this solder on here. All this stuff going on there. Takes a minute to heat up, melt through that hole. It's like a jam pile of solder going on in here. There it goes. Okay. Alright. If you're going to burn yourself with solder, it's probably going to burn yourself with the wire, not the actual solder itself. Because that wire will get hot. Make sure my volume pot's not overheating. Yeah, okay, that's still cool, so we're good. Okay, I'll go ahead and just pull out this bridge pickup now. Be careful with the wires so they don't damage anything. Here we go. I'll wrap it up nice and neat so that when it goes in my other guitar or I have to sell it, it will be nice and neat for the next guy. Okay. I'll get a measurement on this anyhow before I sell it. So this will do for now. Okay. Now while I'm at it, I'm just going to go ahead and thread that bridge through. Make sure it's going in the right direction. Braid these wires back up. Sure they came out the other end there. There we go. I'm gonna make sure this drops in all the way. Like I said, I didn't like the fact that I couldn't lower that pickup anymore. That was a major gripe I had. So I want to make sure that when I install this, I can actually lower it to the point where I need to without damaging these wires. Okay. So I think that has a lot to do with just making sure that I can pull these through all the way. That should work out just fine. Okay. Go ahead and drop this back in here, and again, we're just going to take this white wire, give myself a little extra slack. I'm going to unbraid it so that I can get it up and over and around and get it right into this one right here. I'm going to come at it from this side. Probably what I want to do is just go ahead and just remove this old solder from this joint. This is how you work one of these things, okay? Push this thing down until it clicks, and then when I heat up the solder, I'm going to click this button and this shoots up and sucks it right up in there. Okay, so coming from behind, I'm going to get right over top of this solder from this side, okay? There we go, just like that. Piece of cake. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some fresh solder going on there. Again, I'm going to work from behind and just let the solder just kind of roll down on there. Working from underneath. There we go. Got a nice coating of solder on there. Now I can just heat it up from this side and push it right through the hole there. I'm going to get it lined up with the hole. Angles are everything when we're doing this stuff here. Since I got plenty of room, I'm just going to go ahead and turn this around and show you from this side, okay? I'm going to push it. Move this guy out of the way. There we go. I'm going to push that right, get lined up, push it right through the hole. I might edit this part out depending on how foolish I want to look. Maybe not. Hey, I'm not claiming to be a professional here, okay? I just like to work on my own stuff. Mainly because I don't like to wait to get my guitar back. I mean, and I don't like to spend all the money. But really, it's the waiting. I gotta spend my money and I gotta wait for the turnaround. Alright, let's just double check here, okay? Cavalier leads can be reversed for any phasing issue. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't see. This is just a regular grounding, so I'm going to ground them together. They're two different wires coming from two different places. Both need to be grounded. So what I'll do is just kind of twist them together a little bit there. And this is my grounding spot. What a mess it is. But who cares? As long as it's nice and shiny. And we get a good connection. We'll test all of this stuff out, before we close it back up and all that, we'll get a good test. That's looking good. Okay. So we should have our bridge pickup all soldered in there. Now let's take a look at her neck. Flip her over, get out of the way there. This burn mark, by the way, came from Cavalier. That's how it was. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to assume that this was the grounding for the plate. This is the one I did myself. White is going to be hot. That's where the hot one goes, and the black was the ground down here. So the hot is going to go on the second lug, second one. The ground is going to go on the very first one down here. Okay. And then the bridge plate ground, we know where that goes. Okay. So hot will go up here on the second one. Again, we'll just heat this up and give it a tug. There we go. Piece of cake. Heat this up. Give it a little tug. There we go. Okay, again, I'm going to want to suck this solder right out of here. So that we have some fresh solder to work with here. And whenever it's possible, it's always best to use fresh solder. There we go. Now, time to yank this out. Just carefully just pull these out here so nothing gets damaged. I'm going to go ahead and leave this extra ground wire on there for the next guy, because everybody likes to do a 4-way Tele switch. I mean, who doesn't? Alright, I'll put this away before I make a huge mess. Alright, now let's get the new Cavalier Lion. Get it lined up here. First thing I'm going to do again is I'm going to strip this wire. Using my cheapo Harbor Freight wire tool that always gets stuck and never wants to work right. It just keeps cutting the wire. So my wire is getting shorter and shorter. Alright. That's why it pays to get good equipment, guys. I'm not knocking Harbor Freight, it works, but it's not always the best. I don't understand why these are melted here. It's such a weird thing, because now I have to try extra hard to grab this stuff, you know. Pull it out. It's weird. Rob, if you're watching this, I'm kind of curious as to why those cloth wire looks a little burnt instead of cut. You're the expert, so I'm sure there's a good reason for it. I'm just kind of curious. Alright, there we go. I'll go ahead and tin these up now. I'll just use one of these here, maybe just thread it through there to give it a hold. It's all about the leverage. It's all about the leverage. And then, yeah, I'm soldering right over top of my guitar, because you know what? I don't care, guys. I don't. Alright? I'll put a pack of strings underneath here, okay? Or, you know, just a polishing cloth. Why not? Because now that I said something, that's when it's going to happen. Alright. And then we'll just go ahead and tin these edges up just a little bit there. There we go. Okay. There we go. Yep. Just tin them up. Once again, making sure that I breathe in all these nice toxic fumes. Alright. Lead does the body good. Okay, now that that's done, we'll go ahead and just thread this through. This is a pain in the butt right here. So what I'll do is first try to get it through this hole, like this. That little divot on there is gonna bug me. I'm telling you, it's already bugging me. I'll see it every time I play this guitar, and it's gonna just, you know what though? I'm just gonna keep on griping about it. Keep on griping about it. You know, if I was patient enough and I didn't care about this, I would just file a complaint, try to get a new one sent, you know, file a damage report at the post office. I don't know. You know what? I'm not that concerned, okay? I'm just not. Even though it's gonna bug me. I just like to have something to complain about, that's all. Just like to have things to complain about. Don't we all? Okay. Alright, give myself a little room to work with here. Now this is going on the second lug. Hot one's going on the second lug. Again, I'm just going to quickly heat it up from this side. I'm going to try to line it up and just kind of poke it through. Once it heats up and melts, whoop. That's another nice thing about these cloth pushback wires. If your wire's too long, you can just push it down and cover it up a little bit. Just push it right back down over top of that. That's good though. Okay, black one's gonna go down here. Oh, again, I took off all that old solder, so now what I gotta do is put some fresh solder down on there. Is this, I'm going to come up from underneath it. Again, I'm just going to try to line it up with the hole. Heat that up and try to poke it through. There we go, nice and shiny. Shiny looking. And again, if these are good solder joints, I should be able to tug on these things real hard. They should not come off. If it comes off when you pull on it, it's a bad solder joint. Okay, one more ground here to go. I'm just going to heat this up just a little bit here. There we go. Drop even more of a glob of solder on top of that, just because why not be excessive, right? Nothing exceeds like excess, right? I heard that once a long time ago somewhere. I think you all know where. Okay. All right. Okay, so now everything should be good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and ground this up, or screw this in here. Okay, so this one here is new to me. Like I said, I'm not sure. This has to touch the bridge plate, so it's going to have to go in between this tubing which is a pain in the butt to get off. I am telling you. Take this tubing off of the screw. Come on. Come on. Squish, 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 squish. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to start with this one because I know it's going to be the most hassle here. I'm going to thread the screw through. put the screw through the ground, and then put the tube back over the screw. There we go. Enough so that I can thread it. Far up enough so I can thread it. Okay, now I'll work on the rest of them. Hey, whoop. Boom, there goes another dent. That's another reason I like these road warrants, because you know what? I can go ahead and dent it all I want. I can drip solder on it. It doesn't matter. It's not going to ruin the shiny new finish. Alright. And just like this, it's just another tale to tell. That's that one time I ordered those Cavalier pickups, man. I talked to Rob, he's such a good guy, and then got my stuff and it was busted. Just kidding, Rob. I act like Rob's gonna actually be watching this. He's way too important of a guy. Too busy to be doing this stuff. If you're watching this, Rob, get back to work. Here we go. Okay, let's get this last tubing on here. This is the point where I get impatient and I start throwing stuff. There we go. I'm in a hurry. I want to hear these things. But I still got to restring it and all that. Such is life. Okay, let's try to carefully line this up. And again, I don't want to strip these screws out, so I want to just do it nice and easy till I get it started. That's not right. Let's start with this one here. There we go. That's just started. Just as soon as it grips a hold of there, I'm done turning. There we go. Okay, now this one here is not lined up with the hole properly, so I'm going to get a better angle here. Yeah. Something's going on here with this one. I might have already stripped it a little bit. There we go. Okay, just get it started. That's it. So it's just getting started. Again, I want to be real careful that I don't damage those, damage that cloth coil wrap. I want to make sure all my wires in here are out of the way. I'm going to pull this through as much as possible. Line this up. Why does it do this? This is what happens, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm going to go ahead and tighten them up until they're nice and snug. Because again, I don't want to damage these coil. So I just want it snug until it's up against the little rubber tubing. Because that'll get me to a good place to start. You know, once it's snug with the rubber tubing, then we can go from there. Just get her snug with the rubber tubing so that the pickup's not moving and flapping around in there anymore. There we go. Okay, now let's make sure everything's pulled through there nice and snug, nice and tight. There we go. There's no leeway there. Looking good so far. Okay, I'll go ahead and secure my... At this point I can take my multimeter out actually. And then just make sure that everything's connected here. There's a little speaker looking thing right there. Flip it onto there. That's connectivity test, so I can take any 2 points and see if they're connected, okay? This should be connected to the ground, okay? Connected, because this is connected to the ground, this is connected to the ground, this cover. we're good. Okay? It's all connected. Bridge plate, control panel, cover, control, cavity control cover, whatever it's called. Huh. That's weird. It might be a rough connection there. I might want to take a look at that. Weird. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I'll just double check all the solder joints and all that. So we should be good to go ahead and install this too. Let's go ahead and put the neck pickup in before we start doing anything else. Put the screw through. This is actually a different size. These are smaller screws, so I like to use the precision set for these. I get it fully seated. Yeah, that's better. Just far enough where I can get this rubber grommet on there. Get the tube on there. There we go. This is the tricky part too. When you got dealing with all these wires, you don't want to bend things too much. You don't want to force anything in its place. Okay, be real gentle. Patience. Patience. Okay. I'm gonna try to straighten that screw out. Find the hole. I can't find the hole. There we go. Yeah, that's not right. There we go. That one went in a lot easier. Something's wrong on this side. If there's any resistance, I would stop, take a deep breath, start over. If there's any resistance. We don't want resistance. And really, I'm just going to put this so that it's pretty much level with the fretboard for now until we get the strings on. There's no point in really adjusting it too much. I just kind of want it right about level with the fretboard. There we go. Okay. And then we'll just do a quick audio test here. We'll plug it into the jack here. Turn on the amp. Whoa. Incredible amount of buzzing going on here. Makes me wonder if I got well, I don't have my shielding hooked up, you know, that's one thing. Yeah, something might not be right. Okay, that works. Everything's hooked up. Might be this light, actually. No. A lot of buzzing. A lot more than I'm used to. There it was. It was actually the soldering iron. That soldering iron was causing all that buzz. Right there. Cool. Alright. We're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and button it back up. First thing I'm going to do is run this output jack through here. Okay, let's put this back together. Kind of stuff this in the hole for now so it doesn't flop around too much. See if I can find the holes that were already in there. I think they're about right there. Okay. Perfect. Nice and snug. I'll make sure all the wires, I don't want to be ripping any soldering joints off, you know, when I'm putting this back in here. Mess of, you know what? This right here. Ugh. It's getting in the way. So I can move that over. That's fine. That's good. That was my bridge ground. So if I'm unsure about that, again, I can just take my multimeter here, turn it back on, make sure I didn't rip anything apart. And just connect these. Good. Good. All right. We're on the home stretch here. I don't know why I'm going to start with the control plate. I just am. Because it bugs me. Bugs me the most. Not sure why. I'm not going to tighten it all the way up because I want to make sure the neck or the pick guard actually fits together on it pretty good here. Okay. There's a lot going on under there. There's a lot going on under there. Alright, let's put this bridge back on here. And again, here I want to be very careful. I'm just going to start the threads nice and loose. If there's any resistance, I'm going to just back off and take a second here. We'll start with every other one. There we go. That one's going in easy. Let's start here. We'll do it on the outside here. I don't want to tighten them all up until I get them all in there. One thing I did to this Brad Paisley Tele is I put, these are the zinc alloy saddles that I got from a 69 thin line I used to have. I didn't like the brass saddles that come on the Paisley road worn Tele. I just didn't like them. If you have one, you ever played one, you'll know what I'm talking about. They have these little slider things on there, and it just, I feel like it just sucks the tone. And the strings get caught in there. It's just, I did not like that those saddles at all. Oh, okay. We don't want to strip screw heads here. We're getting a little tighter there, okay? I'm just getting a little bit tighter now. Okay, this one's going in nice and easy. There we go. Okay, so when we get them all pretty low, like this, see how it wiggles around a little bit? That's when we kind of just want to do like a little quarter of a turn on each one of them, just to make sure that we're not twisting this bridge plate at all and throwing everything out of whack. Okay, yep, see? So just a little quarter of a turn on each one of them so that it's nice and straight. You know how it is, I don't want to measure and try to get a laser level out and try to straighten everything out. No, I ain't gonna do that, okay? We're not professional here. We're basement workbench guitar heroes here, okay? Alright, there we go. Alright, hopefully I'll never have to take this bridge plate off again because I really don't want to. Snug, but not too snug. I don't want to strip them out. Just snug. But I do want a good connection to the body because you're going to transfer a lot of resonance. Okay. Now, we're going to set the pickup height. Okay. So just to start off with, what I'm going to do is go right about, let's see here, 2/16 of an inch. Okay, this goes in 64ths. So divided by 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/16 would be 16 right there. 2 would be right about there. It's right about 8/64s, right? 1/4, 1/8. That's an 1/8 of an inch, which is 2/16, right? Yeah. So I'll push it right down the fretlet right there, and then we'll start. That'll give us a good starting point, okay? But we'll use our ears. We're going to use our ears to dial this in. So I'm going to plug it in and make a little adjustments. But just to get it started, I'm going to try to get it lined up so that it is roughly an 1/8 of an inch, I think, or so, from the fretted spot there, okay? Maybe a little bit higher on the treble side, but not much. I want it pretty level to start with. Yeah. A little more. I'm just going to eyeball it just to see if it's level. It's looking pretty level, yeah. That's a good place to start, I think. Maybe back off just a hair. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Now this has got to come way up. So, again, with this bridge pickup, small adjustments to make it even. 1, 2, 3 turns on this side. 1, 2, 3 turns on that side. 1, 2, 3 turns on that side. I've always found that where I like most Tele bridge pickups, it's pretty close to the top of this ashtray bridge plate. But since these pole pieces are raised a little bit, you know, that's got to compensate for a little bit. So I'm just going to go about the distance to where the pole pieces are probably pretty close to the top of that there. A little bit back up there a little bit. There we go. And then I'm just going to eyeball for level to make it level. This third pickup here, this is your leveling screw. Alright, there we go. That looks pretty level. Okay, we'll plug her in and make adjustments from there. Wife and kids will be home here pretty soon, so I doubt I'll have time to do that in this video. But I'll go ahead and do that later and then give you a demo of the pickups. once they're adjusted.